When was the last time you thanked something that never left you? Not the things you gained, or the things you lost and got back. I'm talking about the quiet constants. The presence is so steady, they almost fade into the background. Think about it for a moment. What or who has always been there? Just there? There was a dog who lived by the gate of a small house. Not a special gate, not a fancy house. But to this dog, it was the center of the world. Every morning, without fail, it would be there, waiting. Its tail would give a gentle, hopeful thump against the ground as the front door creaked open. As its owner stepped out, the dog would rise, not with a frantic lip, but with a quiet dignity, and fall into step right beside him. Never ahead, trying to lead the way. Never behind, struggling to keep up. Always right there, a warm, furry shadow in perfect sync. The owner's pace was its pace. His rhythm was its rhythm. It was a silent agreement, an unspoken dance they performed every single day. The dog never asked for much. A gentle pat on the head was a feast. A soft word, a symphony. Sometimes just the shared silence of the walk was enough. The simple act of being together was the reward. It didn't need grand gestures or fancy toys. Its joy was sourced from this simple, unwavering companionship. The world could spin as wildly as it wanted, but this walk, this moment, was its anchor. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and months into years. The familiar routine became just that routine. The owner stopped noticing. He'd become so accustomed to the dog's presence that it was like the air he breathed. Essential, but invisible. The gate would open. He would step out. The dog would follow. It was a fact of life, as certain as the sun rising. He didn't have to look. He just knew. The soft padding of paws on the pavement became a background sound, part of the morning's ambient noise, like birds chirping or the distant hum of traffic. Rain came, turning the dirt path to mud. The dog stayed, its fur soaked, its paws cold, but its position beside him was unchanged. It would shake the water from its coat and continue the walk, a loyal, dripping companion. Cold winter nights arrived, frosting the grass and chilling the air. The dog stayed, a warm breath visible in the frigid morning, its body a small furnace of loyalty against the bite of the wind. Through every season, every change in weather, its presence was a promise kept. The owner never looked back. He never turned his head to check if the dog was there. Why would he? The dog had always been there. It was a given, a constant in a life full of variables. He'd forgotten the feeling of walking alone. He'd forgotten what it was to start the day without that quiet, steady presence at his side. He took it for granted, not out of malice, but out of the simple human flaw of overlooking the constants. We often don't treasure things that feel permanent. We save our attention for the novel, the fleeting, the things we fear we might lose. The dog, in its infinite loyalty, had become too permanent to be seen. Then, one morning, something was different. The gate opened with its usual creak. The owner stepped out, keys in hand, mind already on the day ahead. But there was no soft thud of a tail, no familiar shadow falling into place beside him. The yard was quiet. Not peaceful quiet. It was a loud, empty quiet. A silence that held a question. It was the kind of quiet that makes you stop and listen, even when you don't know what you're listening for. He walked a few steps, the silence growing heavier with each one. He stopped. The air felt wrong. Too still. He turned and looked back at the house. The spot by the gate, the spot that had been occupied every morning for as long as he could remember, was empty. The dog wasn't there. It hadn't moved from its sleeping spot. It was lying still. Too still. He called its name. Once. Twice. His voice echoed in the stillness, sounding foreign and strange. There was no answer. No flick of an ear. No stirring from its rest. For the first time in years, the space beside him felt vast. The gate felt hollow. The entire morning felt vacant, as if a vital piece of it had been carved out, leaving a gaping, noticeable void. The constant was gone, and its absence was a deafening roar. That day, the owner walked alone. The path, once so familiar, suddenly felt longer, more arduous. Every step echoed in a way it never had before. The silence wasn't peaceful. It was heavy, pressing in on him, filled with the ghost of paw steps that were no longer there. He noticed every crack in the pavement, every weed growing by the side of the road, things he'd never seen before, because his focus, even subconsciously, had always been shared. Some things don't leave with a dramatic storm or a loud goodbye. They don't announce their departure. They just fade. They disappear quietly, in the background, while we are busy looking ahead. They leave a space that we only notice when we reach for them and find nothing but air. Their value is only truly understood in the vacuum they leave behind. They disappear the moment you finally, desperately realize you needed them all along. So I ask you again, what did you stop noticing simply because it never left? Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, consider subscribing for more content that makes you think.